Right. I think I'm live. I'm going to need you to tell me if I'm live or not. Oh, I am, because I can hear myself. Wow. Right, I think I'm with you now. If I'm accidentally coming out of my own YouTube, then I must be live. Yes, you're on. Right. So as I understand it, Lainey's on problems unliving, like ending her stream. So we'll just sit here and cross our fingers and hope that by the time this is finished, whatever the hell is going on will have sorted itself out. I think StreamYards needs to get some serious tech support up in there because that's just an absolute pain in the tatty bojangles. Gerald was meant to be going live at 7, and from what I can see, he had an absolute nightmare and wasn't able to. One of the only times I'm able to catch Gerald's live, and it doesn't work. And then I saw that Lainey was live with BCC, and Simon has said in the chat they can't seem. Elaine's struggling to come off of live, and then I'm having trouble getting into StreamYard, and I think I'm going to be a smart arse. I can kind of work technology. I'm just going to go live, direct on YouTube, and StreamYard can go fuck itself. It's all good. So I tries that. Then after a bit of fannying about, I realised that if you've set it up on StreamYard, then you can't then drag it over to be direct on YouTube or something like that. Or indeed use any other fucking software. So that's a no-go. Maybe just go live through YouTube, like to use a different live, Chris. Maybe I might have, it might take me half an hour to work out how to do that because I've not done that before. Then StreamYard starts giving me hope and looks as though it's loading up. But it's kinda and kinda not, because I keep having to refresh and press buttons over and over again. Anyway, I'm here. I'm fucking queer. I'm pissed off at just whatever is going on to have made this happen. I don't know whether fucking Mercury and Saturn and Uranus have met up in the third house and started having a big bun fight and is making communications go tits up everywhere. I don't know. But whatever it is, I'm here with you. At least I think I am. Unless you all start telling me that, nah, this is no good, you're too laggy, or you're too this, too that. Who knows? Who knows? Am I still here? Did you hear all of that rant? Did you not? Probably not such a big deal if you didn't, because who wants to listen to me bitching? Well, I go down and say hi to everyone, and you can let me know if it's no wonder I drink, let me tell you. And speaking of which, today I've got a lovely Southern Comfort and Cola can. We were at Lidl, the shop, and Jilly says it was a great rant. Right, okay, so you've managed to hear all that. Yeah, we were at Lidl just picking up some stuff, and as we were checking out, I saw on one of the end of the aisles they had these cans. Well, Sandy saw them and said, "Oh, you would like that?" And I thought, "Oh, I'll grab that for my life." So yeah, I'm drinking SoCo and Coke. Mars square Uranus. Why am I saying Uranus? I say Uranus because I'm immature and it's funny to say Uranus. And now I'm switching it up and saying Uranus, and we can't be having that. Mars square Uranus opposing and squaring your sun. Right. Okay. Well, maybe that's what's going on. And they can just fucking get over it, let me tell you. Right, let me go down and say hi to everyone, because there's lots of lovely people here that have been here and that have stuck with the live, even though I'm 20 minutes late on. So first in was our lovely Kristen from 9 Worlds Tarot. Hi, Kristen, how you doing? We've got Donna from Artists and Oracles. Hi, Donna. And we've got Donna Riedler. Hi, Donna. Donna Reversal Donna, who in Jilly's live last night, I didn't pull any reversals. I mean, Donna, maybe that's something to do with all this bull fuckery that's going on. Maybe you getting cards the right way up is like sending us all spiraling into this big electronic communication massive bullshit. Yeah. So maybe the next time we see Donna getting upright cards, we need to be fearful for what's happening. Let's see. Bonsoir, ça va? I'd like to say ça va bien, but because it's the only way I know how to respond to that. But actually, it's very much not ça va bien at the moment. It's ça va mech. I was saying hi to people. So we've got Tony. Hi, Tony. And we've got Jen. Hi, Jen. Look at me remembering people's names. We've got Marita. I think it may require a fresh link. Well, hopefully we're all good now. Forever we're after. And yeah, someone asked about the deck. Yeah, Donna asked about what deck it was in the thumbnail. And yep, you're right. It's the Wiser Tarot. I would grab it and show you the box, but look, a load of shit in front of it there, which, being honest, it's going to take some effort to move, and I can't be bothered right at this moment in time. But I'm going to have to move it all at some point to get a deck out to do the spread with. So, Simon at the Hermit's Cave. Elena is still unable to enter live stream from well over an hour ago. And Mumintaro, how you doing? And the lovely Jelly, who thought you were late, but you weren't, because I'm even later, because I'm a diva and I have to arrive after everyone else. I like to make an entrance, as you know. And that was when I became live, right? So I'm on, and I said, I said Tatty Bojangles, which I can't even remember what the sentence was, but Tatty Bojangles is just another word for tits. So I apologise for using stupid wordry. Jonathan, popping in to say hello before finishing my workout. I'll log back into the live stream when I get home. Look at you doing a workout and getting all the big muscles. Marion says, oh my God, such a drama. I know. You know what I'm like, Marion. I like to cause a bit of drama. Who else have we got? Sorry, I'm a bit slow at this still. Robert. Hi, Robert. How you doing? There's no good way to say it. Uranus or Uranus. Yeah. Play Love Remember says hello, beautifuls. Hello, Play Love Remember. It is very lovely to see you. I don't know if you've been here before. If not, then welcome. I'm not usually this bitchy and pissed off. I'm actually usually quite mellow, and if I do say so myself, I'm usually quite, easy ozy, laid back, quite a happy chappy, to be honest. Beth at Aspasia Rising. Hi, Beth. How are you? Let's see if I can pronounce this. So, je suis fatigué et ballonné. I don't know if LOL is just laugh out loud. Crow's Little World. Hi there, how you doing? You can just respond, oui, ça va. Ça va? Oui, ça va. Ça va? Ça va, ça va. It's a complete combo in French. uh, oh, Jelly got women when women had wings come in today. Oh, you've got it coming today. In fact, I'm going to check now. Oh, hopefully it's there, Jelly. Elspeth is here. Hi, Elspeth. How are you? You're not really late, Elspeth. I had issues getting live, so I've only just become live about 5-10 minutes ago, and I spent the first 4 to 9 minutes having an absolute rant and bitch and just being a bit dramatic. So you've really not missed much at all, don't worry. I don't know why I'm leaning forward like that. I'm going to end up getting a sore back. Play Love Remember says no judgment here. Thank you. This is a judgment-free space. This is a safe space. So on your wish list, is that when women had wings? Yeah. So Jelly went live yesterday, and it was for the first time. It was the first time we'd seen her in quite a while, and it was a fantastic live. She was a natural. It was as though she'd never been away. We all had a great time. We pulled some cards together, and it was just really lovely to see her. I swear I feel as though every time I see Jelly, she looks younger than the last time. Younger and, if it's possible, more beautiful than the last time I seen her. So one of these days I'm going to be like a saggy old git, probably still coming on live in my 90s, and Jelly's going to be just looking about 16 or something like that. Beth says lots of issues today I've been hearing. Yeah, I think there has been, and there's flies coming out and join us. They can fuck off. Yeah, that delay totally worked for you. Ferdiad, late to the party. Again, you're not late at all. You didn't miss a thing. Just me ranting, being a bitch because of, well, I was late on, about 20 minutes late, and then I had a rant. So, and now I'm just getting to the bottom of saying hi to everyone. So you've literally not missed anything. Chris, hi Chris, how are you? Grand Rising from Down Under. Grand Rising from Down Under. That sounds like something rude, doesn't it? Oh, sorry, I'm being immature, but you know me well enough. You know that I like to be immature. Good to catch you live. It's good to see you. You're so full of it. I'm not fucking full of it. All right, maybe I'm not going to be 90, and maybe you're not going to look 16 if I'm still going live when I'm 90. But I do maintain that you look fantastic, and you look, if it's possible, more fantastic every time I see you. That wasn't me exaggerating to make my point. That was me being genuine. Jilly's like Merlin. She's aging backwards. Yay for ranting and being a bitch. It does us all good. It does. It does. Now I just need to be able to turn it off and get on with the live and be my usual self. Beth, I met a guy at the gym named Merlin. Jonathan, only you could meet a guy at the gym named Merlin. Oh dear. Anyway, after all that, do I even have anything to chat about? I don't know. I have gotten some new things this week because I've been in a bit of a spending phase lately. Most of the stuff that I got is downstairs and not, because I didn't think to bring it up so as I could show you. So that's not very helpful at all, is it? Some of the stuff I've got is here. So I've got, what have I been up to the past week? So since I saw you last, so it's been 2 weeks since I saw you. The reason I wasn't live last Thursday is because it was Sandy's birthday. And we went out for dinner and drinks for his birthday, and we had a great time. So that was on Thursday. Over that weekend, we went to, so there was a kind of a market thing called the Witches Cove that was on the Sunday at a place in Glasgow called the Barras. If you know Scotland or if you know Glasgow, then you'll have heard of the Barras. So yeah, I went to that and got some new tarot decks. And I got a new hoodie. And what else? I got a new mug. Absolutely none of which is within reach for me to show you. I appreciate that that's not very good on my part. But I also went to a wee shop in Glasgow called Opal Moon. It's in the west end of Glasgow. And I picked up some bits and bobs, including this wee crystal that I'm playing with, this wee quartz crystal, which is really nice. Yeah, I've enjoyed just kind of playing with it, like using it like a wee fidget toy. I know you probably shouldn't use crystals like fidget toys, but hey ho. Like when I'm working, when I'm talking to people, I'll just have this, and it's quite nice. We've had some sunny days recently, so it's nice to kind of look at the sun coming in through the crystal and stuff. What else did I get there? I got a set of mala beads, which again, nowhere near me. They're in my room. I don't have them to show you. I got some incense as well. I got some beautiful incense actually. I got a new incense burner. This wasn't from Opal Moon. But I got this new incense burner, so it's that. So the problem, in fact, hang on. Oh, we're fine. So the problem that I've got with all of the incense burners that I've got is they either, like, there's no convenient way for you to sit your incense in it, which is stupid. Or you can sit the incense in it, but when it burns, it drops ash on. It doesn't catch all the ash, it drops on the desk. So I got this, and this is like this sits vertically on the desk like that. And the incense sticks, you can put a cone in or you can put sticks in, and they sit in there, and they fit in there, they sit. You close this over and it catches everything. The only thing is I need to remember, and when I open it, I need to open it over the bin. Otherwise it just all falls out and crumbles everywhere. But it's a really nice incense holder, so I'm happy with it. And I got some nice incense as well, some Native Soul incense, if anyone knows that brand. So I got some white sage and Palo Santo. I'm a big fan of the smell of white sage. So I also got white sage and dragon's blood. I've been using them, I've been burning them. I try not to burn more than one a day because everyone else in this house hates incense. And I kind of get moaned at when I burn it. So I open the door and I stick one in when nobody's about. And then usually the next minute someone comes in like, oh my God, what's going on? But yeah, I also got this cool tarot box. How nice is that? And it's like proper like ceramic, like clay stuff, I don't know. But yeah, it's got like a lid that's quite heavy. I've just got In it, I've got this deck, the Smith way with the printed, the ones that I was moaning about last week that I don't like. See, because I started talking about the deck, I actually realised that I fancied using it again. So I've been using it all week. So yeah, that's the deck that's sitting in there just now. I got some beautiful things from a very lovely person. Swear to goodness, all day there's been emergency vehicles passing by here. I do live, like, there's a main road right there, but I swear it's been more than usual. Like, there's been police and ambulances and whatnot going by with their sirens on. There's also, I don't know if it's like a quad bike or a motorbike or just a car that's set up to make a really loud noise, but it goes by here like once or twice a day. And it's usually always when you're either on a call or streaming, doing something like this. It's really irritating. And I know I sound old, like I'm moaning at the young kids doing things, but like nobody needs to hear that level of volume from your vehicle. Anyway, yeah, I got some lovely things through the post from a lovely person who is in the chat, but I've not asked that person if it's okay for me to share that I got those things from that person. So and I want to do a separate video on that anyway. So I'm not going to like kind of go out my way to show those things just now. I'm going to maybe wait and do a separate video. So look out for that. A couple of weeks ago, I did the Glasgow Witchy Bazaar. I got a new tarot deck. Has anybody seen this? And again, I don't actually have the actual tarot deck. That's in my bedroom, which is useless to you. The Emerald Papyrus Tarot. Anyone seen this before? I can show you some of the art because I've got the book here. Oh wait, can I? Yeah, let me switch to table cam. Oh, of course, this has stopped working. Let me see if we can sort this. There we go. Right, we're good. So yeah, this is the Emerald Papyrus Tarot. I got this from Sarah at Tarot by Peachy. So this is some of the art on the cards that you're seeing here. So it is like a kind of a photographic deck. So at first when I picked it up, I wasn't sure because I'm not a big fan of photographic art. But yeah, the more I looked at it, the more I kind of really liked it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this. I'm looking forward to doing a review of it, hopefully. Yeah, that's some of the things that I've acquired over the past week or so. I've not even asked how you guys are. How are you? What are you drinking? What have you been up to since I've seen you last? Oh, let me know. Let me find where I was in the chat. I can see that I'm tagged in a few comments. Jelly says you got a new card holder. Yes, I did. I sure did. Ferdiad says, oh, is Opal Moon still going? I remember it in Ashton Lane when I lived there over 20 years ago. Oh, I didn't know it used to be in Ashton Lane. That's pretty cool. So yeah, Opal Moon is still going. It's not in Ashton Lane though. It's oh gosh, what road is it on? I don't know, but it's I think it's off Great Western Road or something like that. But yeah, it's still going and it's amazing. So Tony's not drinking tonight. Right, how am I going to do this? Tony's not drinking tonight. Whoops. Donna says, oh, the anticipation chili. I have a couple of decks coming, but there is limited tracking, so don't know when to expect them. Is that anticipating when women had wings? Tammy Pie is here. Hi, Tammy Pie. I don't think I said hi to you. Forgot your tea. Kristen has seen the deck. Ferdiad is posting a link to it. Thanks, Ferdiad. Sarah at Taro by Peachy was selling it at her stall, so I'm assuming that she might have it in her shop. So check out Taro by Peachy. She may well have it if you want to buy it. And if you're in the UK, then you'll probably get it cheaper postage than if you're buying it if it comes from abroad. Let's see. Beautiful tarot box, thank you. I had that incense tower and got rid of it. It wasn't very functional. I think it's great. The only thing is about having to open it over a bin, but that's fine because I keep a bin right next to where I keep the incense burner, so that's ideal. I made a safer incense holder using a tall, narrow vase and a clothespin on top holding the incense stick. Fair enough. I don't know what else to do with crystals than just show them around in my hand, says Kristen. Yeah, that's fair. You know, I've never really been much of a crystal person, but I'm getting a wee bit better. I've often grumbled about the design of many an incense burner. Lots of Virgo in my chart. Do you know, I have been looking a lot at my natal chart lately because I'm getting into astrology, as I was talking about in Jilly's live. And I don't really have very much Virgo at all. I don't even know if it's on any of my house cusps. And Marion, if you're still here, that's because I'm using Placidus, and not everyone likes Placidus because and when you look at Placidus, some of the signs are like completely enclosed within houses, so like some of the signs can be doing absolutely nothing for you. Let's see. I recently got one that drops into a glass. Nice. I found that sometimes incense would go out in those ones. Oh, okay. I've not had any issues so far. All of my incense burns right down. And it's good as well because the what was I going to say there? Because it doesn't like give off a load of smoke. It actually contains a lot of the smoke and lets it out kind of slowly, which is good because, like, you know, it can be annoying if you try to work or, you know, you try to concentrate and it's like getting really, really smoky. Yes, I'm so precious with them that I really take them with me anywhere. Oh, you're talking to Jelly, sorry. Jelly fidgets with crystals all the time. I have one in my hand now. Anyone else? Yeah, see, I've got a couple of pyrites in front of me. I'm not fidgeting with these because I think they can discolour your hands. I've got a wee tiger's eye goddess that's actually sitting right in front of my beautiful new card holder, and she's kind of stayed there. I have that quartz that I've been kind of playing with. Also got this jade. It's like a sword with a snake around it. That's quite fun. You know, I love my snaky things. Oh, speaking of snaky things, I've got to show you something. So, I've probably said this before to you, right? Opal Moon is on Queen Margaret Drive. That is what it is. Thanks, Marion. and I'm sure I'm due a slagging for reading Placidus. Just for it. No, okay, we're all good. I've probably told you this before, right? But when I was wee, I loved the bad guys in films. I was always a fan of the villains. Um, whether it was like Rita and the Power Rangers, Maleficent and Sleeping Beauty. I just loved the bad guys. And I particularly loved Jafar and Aladdin. And if you're picking up on the commonality here, each of these bad guys has a staff, a magic staff that they use, right? So I was always obsessed with like sticks and stuff when I was wee because I just loved the idea of like having a magic staff. And I'm talking, I must have been like 4 or 5 years old or something. And I had been asking for my Christmas, and any time I could ask, I would say I want a Jafar staff. And one time I went over to my dad's mum's house, and she got me a Jafar staff. And for years and years and years and years and years, it was my favourite thing in the whole wide world. Like as soon as I would get there, I would go straight to the cupboard under the stairs to get my Jafar staff. I would pick my family members with it. I would go out into the garden and do all sorts of magic with it. I would throw it down onto the ground. You name it. This Jafar staff has been through this. So you know that my dad passed away in October, just passed. So I was over at the weekend. One of the things I did at the weekend was I went to see my stepmom, and she's been kind of clearing a bunch of stuff out, and she found my Jafar staff. So I've got it. I took it home and I've got it here to show you. So it's basically like a walk. I think it might be a walking stick. But this is my Jafar staff. This is probably one of the oldest possessions that I've got. I can't think of anything that I have in my possession to date that will be older than this. And as you can see, its poor face is all battered and worn away. It used to have like jewels in the eyes, but it's been used to whack so many family members and has been flung off the ground so many times that he's a poor soul, and he's all like kind of the paint's all wearing. It's actually kind of when you look at it, it's bowing a bit, and I think that's probably just because it's been stored in a cupboard for all these years. But yeah, this was my favourite childhood toy, my magical Jafar staff. And actually, now that I look at it, it's like a rod of Asclepius, isn't it? The snake curled round one wand. So that's Asclepius, the Greek god of the healers. Let me tell you, I did not do much healing with this when I was young. Probably more the other way around. Whether it was hitting people with it or like stamping it into their feet. Everyone knew to be on guard around me when I was young when they saw the Jafar staff come out. I think I'm just probably so lucky that no one got to the end of their tether and took this off of me and snapped it in two. Because something like that did happen to me. I had a toy dinosaur, and apparently, I don't remember this because I was too young, but apparently it was one of those ones that had a massive body because it had a big battery console thing inside it, and I hit my granddad over the head with it, and he grabbed it off me and pulled its head off. And of course, wee me was besides himself with tears and snotters and all sorts, and my gran had to sew it back on, and my gran gave him into trouble. I'm sure I remember that. Although, you know, sometimes you kind of create memories in your mind because people have told you about it so much. But I feel as though I remember my gran giving my granddad into trouble and then going and sewing its head back on for me. But anyway, yeah. Jafar Staff. So, yeah. It kind of, it feels weird being reunited with such an, you know, an object from so far back in my childhood, but also because it was only when I went to my dad's house that like I would use that, I would have that. It was kept at my grand's house, and I would only go there when you know, when I would see my dad at the weekends. So kind of a bit of my childhood, a bit of my dad, and yeah, it's a strange feeling. So it is. When are we? Hi, Golden. Nice to see you. Riverware after had coffee with ice cream, but it ran out during your rant. My rant went on so long that I've depleted your coffee and ice cream stores. David's here, but his battery's running low, but saying hi. Hi, David. It's lovely to see you. Hope you're doing okay. Marion says fucking house cusps. What's wrong with house cusps? Let's see. Crow's Little World is Virgo rising. I am a Taurus rising. My sun, moon, and rising are all fixed. I'm a Scorpio, Leo, Taurus. Fortune's Red uses equal house cusps. Kristen has Virgo and Saturn. Supposedly this means do you mean Saturn and Virgo? Supposedly this means I'm a perfectionist and a workaholic. Definitely not me. I very much value my own my downtime. Beautiful. Spend lots of dollars on crystals. That didn't sound quite right. I can't even remember what I said. Did you love the bad guys or just the evil queen or just the evil queens? No, because there was Jafar as well. I suppose Jafar was a bit queenie, wasn't he? Very, very camp. Then I feel as though the villains always were quite camp and, you know, in the old Disney films. The bad women in black sound. So much joy in this story. Contagious smile. Yeah, just so many memories attached to it, I guess. I'm toying with the idea of like painting it, you know, making it like new again, but I don't know if I want to because, you know, there's so much in all of that wear and tear that I don't know, I'm kind of tempted just to leave it that way. When I was wee. Yeah, when I was wee, when I was a Wayne, I was a wee boy. Yeah, sweet stuff. Well, Chris, you are a magus. Yeah. How nice to have that from childhood. Yeah. Love the snake on it. Yeah, it's awesome. I was expecting a plastic toy. Yeah, no. Not plastic. It's wooden. It's solid wood. I think it was a walking stick. Like that's what it was designed to be. As well, love Jonathan. How did they make it? Yeah, it was sold that way for everywhere after. That was exactly how they bought it. I mean, my memory, I seem to have in my head that they bought it on holiday. I'm sure that was what I was told, but now I'm thinking about it, I don't know whether that's true. My oldest possession is my great great grandfather's cane. He died in 1944. Wow. Wait, no, I have some coins from the Byzantine era. You should mount it above your card display. Maybe I should. But then I can't easily grab it in case I need to do any quick magic if it's mounted above my card display. You know. Some of my stones are millions of years old. You should dress up as Jafar for Halloween. You stop. Listen, you, me, madam. I can't remember if I told you all this, but I'm going to tell the story. I'm going to recount the tale once again. So, I don't know if you remember, but Marion and I both read cards at a Halloween event last year. And when we were, I don't know, when I saw her before it, she kind of said to me, "Oh, we'll need to dress up for it." And like she actually sent me like a costume on Temu and says, "Oh, you could get this. You could dress up as that. That would be quite cool." And I was, wait, am I misremembering this? No, I'm misremembering it. It wasn't Halloween. It was the what do you call it? The thing at the student halls, Marion. What was the theme? It was like a masquerade theme. It was a masquerade themed event that me and Marion were reading cards at, and Marion said to me, "Oh, we'll need to dress up." Sent me a team for a pretty cool looking masquerade costume, and was like, "You could get that, dress up as that." So I was like, "Oh gosh, right, okay." And I'm like, I don't just click buy on things. I deliberate. I think about things and overthink them. And I was like, "Oh, what one will I get? What colour will I get? What colour will I look better in? What colour will make me most look like a skinny bitch?" Talking to my friends, being like, "Oh, what colour do you like best in this thing?" And then I saw, thankfully, me and Marion were reading at an event together, and I saw her, but before this other event, and I was like, "Oh, I've been looking, and I think I've decided what costume I'm going to get." And she was like, "What do you mean, what costume you're going to get?" And I was like, "The costume for the masquerade thing." She burst out laughing, and she was like, "I was only kidding you on." I was like, "You bitch, I could have actually bought that. I could have turned up in full masquerade, top to bottom, looking like an absolute prick. And you were just kidding me on all along." So, yes, there will be no dressing up as Jafar for Halloween. Thank you very much. I have Virgo, Stellium, and Scorpio Rising, says Golden. I don't know what Stellium means. Moon and Tarot has Libra Rising. Donna says, "I was just teasing you for saying, speaking of snaky things, I've got something to show." I got you. Don't worry. It's I don't know if I would call it PG because I think I've dropped a fair few F-bombs on the live, but there isn't going to be any explicitness on this live. So we're all good. We're all safe. This is a safe space. Don't worry. I'll get mostly fixed signs too, says Jen. Totally stubborn. Just leave it as it is. You'll regret it if you change it. Oh, I have a locket my grandfather gave my grandmother in 1919. It has a lock of his hair in it. I also have a pic of her wearing it from that year. Oh, that's so nice. I bet it's beautiful. Um, let's see. Stellium is a cluster of planets together. Oh, okay. I've got two planets that are on the same degree within one of the houses. Like they're basically right in the exact same place. You're making me want to look it up now, actually. In fact, well, just see if I can get it on the screen and show everybody. Let's see, astro.com. Let's see if I can log in. Right. Horoscopes at a glance. Here we go. The birth chart. Right. So I'm going to share this. Use this. Share a screen. I'm going to share this one. I'll just do it this way. Oh, you're seeing adverts. Hang on, I think I'll close this. Oh, thank you. Right, where is it? Here it's here. So it's Saturn and Uranus. They're both at 28 degrees in Sagittarius. And oh, I was lying. Virgo is on my 6th house cusp. So Virgo is on my kind of a 6th house is to do with like services to be performed, I think is the key phrase. It's to do with like kind of your day-to-day patterns, routines, you're working. So I've got Virgo on the cusp of that. So then what do? You look at who rules Virgo. I'm not that good. I can't remember who's the. In fact, hang on. Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So we look at where Mercury is, and Mercury's in Libra. 22 degrees of Libra, so in the 3rd decade of Libra. And what does that mean? Do I really know? Not really, but I know that's roughly, how to think about it, or at least that's what I've been seeing. I know that's not how everybody does it. But yeah, anyway, that's my chart. If anyone's interested. Let's see. So stellium's a cluster of planets together. So I suppose I've got a cluster there, you would say. Uranus, Saturn, and Neptune not far after it. I'm all about dressing up because I want to. Who cares what others think, says Jonathan. Oh, when you have 4 or more planets, etc., in a sign or a house. Right, okay. Okay, I don't have that. Neither do. There's 3 in the 6th house. There's 3. Oh no, there's 8th house and 9th house, and Sag and Capricorn. So no stelliums for me. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Can you actually see my mouse when I'm? No, you can't. You just can't see my mouse where I'm pointing to. So that's kind of useless. Should always be costumes in Halloween. You're still laughing at me getting mixed up with the dressing up thing. For F's sake, no effing expletives. Are you actually from Glasgow? Sure am. What are they? Let's see. So they are conjunct, says Marion. Yeah. Yeah, so conjunct is like within, is it 8 degrees of each other? Is that right? I think I have 7 planets, asteroids, and comets in Virgo. Golden says that's a fight. Your sun is conjunct Pluto. You have a life of instant karma. I think most people in my kind of I mean, Pluto was in Scorpio for how many years? Like, Pluto stays in the same place for a long, long time, doesn't it? I think Pluto can be seen to represent the masses just because it's like generational because of how long it stays in one sign. You're lucky though. Golden can't find your chart, but Mars is one. I have my Mercury in Virgo in the 6th house, says Jonathan. You know how to have fun. Yeah. See, I'm only starting to learn astrology, so I don't really know how to read this. I'm only kind of starting to understand bits and bobs, and even at that, like, there's different ways of looking at things, you know. The person I've been watching the most is John Malentry on Astrology for Adults, and he is kind of he says, like, come to a chart with a question. You know, it might be like just as simple as like, right, tell me about myself. So then you look at the first house cusp, you know, cusp is in Taurus. You then look at, you know, who rules Taurus, and that's Venus. Look at where Venus is. So it tells you about you, where the ruling planet is. Maybe kind of tells you a bit more about yourself or something. I don't know. Yeah, so that's kind of how his method of looking at it. But I know that not everybody uses a chart like this, Marion. I know you use whole sign. So when you look at charts, it will look totally different. Someone, I can't remember who, said earlier on that I can't remember the phrase you used, but it was like equal cusps. So if I was doing that, because the first house hits Taurus at 23 degrees, that would mean that the second house would hit Gemini at 23 degrees and the third house would hit Cancer at 23, and so on and so forth, all the way around. You know, the houses would equally be distributed at the same kind of the same points all the way around. I'm only sort of kind of just starting to come to grips with how, you know, how the houses are even decided, you know, what they mean. So the ascendant is kind of like where the point where the sun is rising at the point when you're born or something like that. Yeah, I'm still, I'll be honest, I'm still not 100% sure, but and then everything else is worked out from there, like your ascendant, and you can do your midheaven. I've also just worked out what MC and IC stand for because I was watching a podcast that someone else was doing. So that's medium celli and ilium celli. Celli being the Latin word for heaven, medium being mid, so midheaven. Can't remember what ilium means. So as you can tell, I'm sort of learning stuff, but not really picking up enough to speak about it with any sort of eloquence or authority. Anyway, that's my chart. That's what I've been learning. We're now at 10:15 and we haven't started the spread, so we're going to sort that out. Oh, so thirsty. Right, because it's Pride Month, I've got a lovely Pride tarot spread for us that I've actually designed. I was looking up Pride-themed tarot spreads online and decided I didn't really particularly like any of them and that I was going to create my own. I want to use, if it's handy, the Pride Tarot. So let me just grab that. Oh no, this isn't the Pride Tarot, this is the Queer Tarot. Queer Tarot by Ash and Chess. This is one of the decks that I take with me when I'm reading at markets and stuff. It's one of the most requested decks. It's one of my most popular decks for people to get read with. So if anyone's planning on doing markets and you've got this deck, then take it with you. It's quite a, people tend to like it. It's quite a decent deck, and it's, it's pretty much a Rider-Waite-Smith, just slightly redesigned and queerified a wee bit. Jen says the spread from last time was good. Yeah, I've been continuing to use that actually. It was really good, wasn't it? The only thing about this deck is it's really chunky and it can be quite hard to riffle shuffle, and you know how I like my riffle shuffling. Roscoe says, oh, it looks like I got back just in time, about to grab the Queer Tarot, that is. Excellent. Oh yeah, we're here for the spread. I know I go on and on and on, and then I lose track of time. This is going to be a 5-card spread. We're going to do it in the lovely shape of a wee rainbow. It's going to look great. That was a good riffle. And I've got the positions written down so that I don't forget. So whoever's still with me, if you're pulling cards with us, let me know. Tell me what deck you're using. Roscoe's grabbing the Queer Tarot. Who else is pulling cards? What deck are you using? David's on 3% battery, so needs to go. Bye, David. Sorry, you've got to leave us. But David, if you end up pulling the spreads, at a later date afterwards, then stick in the comments what cards you get. This deck does have reversals shuffled into it, but it wasn't on purpose. I didn't deliberately put reversals into it. I think it just ended up having them, and I just stuck with it. Jilly's using the New Choice, Tarot de Marseille, very nice. Ross Salerno's deck. I've got it there somewhere. Yeah, I've got it up there. It's got a nice wee bloodstone sitting on top of it. Rediscovered Classic Tarot for Jen. Robin Wood for Ferdiad. Steampunk Tarot for Tony, very nice. David's going to look in later. Cosmic Seed Tarot for Beth. The Muse Tarot for Donna. Jonathan's going to grab a deck. Since we're being queer, I'm grabbing the Tarot for You and Me deck. Another lovely tarot deck. It's one that I've got sitting over there. It's not one that I've used at events just because they have changed too much stuff for me to be able to read it fluidly. The last event I did take, what was it I was using that I was reading with? Oh, I know what it was. Oh, it's way up there. It's the Katrin Blackwater Tarot. And because it's not one that I use very often, and it changes up the court system, I got myself a wee bit confused and had to thumb through the deck to find examples of all 4 courts so I could determine which court was what. Which was fine. It wasn't a big deal and it was still a good reading, but it just threw me a bit at the time when I was pulling cards with it. So, yeah. Biro Tarot. Marion is in bed with a cold from hell, so just enjoying hanging out. Oh, Marion, I'm sorry to hear you're no well still. I hope you're on the mend. So yeah, we're going to do a lovely big gay tarot spread, everyone. Right, so let's table on. I'm going to need to zoom out a bit, I think. Okay, so the positions in this spread, and I'll take you through them position by position, but I'm going to call them all out just now to start with, just so that you know what you're pulling for. So the first card, as I say, these are going to go in a nice rainbow shape. The first card is going to be just a general theme card for us. So a theme for us for, just now, or a theme for us for this Pride Month. You can read it how you want to read it. So I'm going to say it's a theme for me for this Pride Month. Pride is all about having pride in ourselves. So the next card is about just that. What should we have pride in? What is something about ourselves that we maybe don't have enough pride in that we should have more pride in? The next position, so pride is also about activism and standing up for people who are marginalised, who are othered. So how can we show up for other people? What actions can we take this Pride Month? So the fourth position is sashay away. It is, as we move forward, what are we saying bye bitch to? What are we leaving behind? What no longer serves us, or what are we leaving behind? Sashay away. And finally, number 5, you might have guessed it, is Shanti stay. So what is it that we are going to keep and take forward and nurture? Moving on. So those are the 5 positions. We'll do them one at a time. So as I say, position number 1 is the theme. And I have got the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords, and it's in the upright position. So it's a page and it's a sword card. So right away, we're talking communication. We're talking about the spoken word. We're talking about exchanges back and forth. It's a page. We don't need to have everything figured out, or say this is my spread. I don't need to have everything figured out. There might be times when I get things wrong. I might say the wrong thing, but if I'm not willing to risk saying the wrong thing, then I'm going to end up not saying anything at all. So it's about just being brave. It's about being as thoughtful as you can with your words, but don't be scared to speak out to a point where it stops you from speaking altogether. Speak your truth at the end of the day. So that's the theme for me for this Pride Month. It's about speaking out. It's about speaking my truth. And those of you that have followed me for a long time will probably know that's something that I've always struggled with, is being very much in the broom closet. I keep this stuff very separate from, from my working life and from my kind of a general life. But I've actually come out of the broom closet to a select few people, but quite a few people in the past, weeks, month or so alone. So I'm really proud of myself for being brave and for letting people in, I guess. No one's reacted badly. Everyone's been really accepting and really nice. And even those that maybe wouldn't have, that it's not their thing, have still been really curious. And it has been really nice. So it has. So anyway, that's my Page of Swords as me coming out of the broom closet. So what is your theme? So Beth, your theme is the moon. So you're navigating uncharted territory. that can be a wee bit scary for us sometimes. Sometimes that moon energy is that kind of it's the unknown, and it can come with a whole load of fear. But the trick is to fight through that and to, at some point, that moon energy becomes your superpower. So just have faith in that. Maybe you find yourself going through something that's, you've not been through before and is a wee bit scary and is a bit unsettling, but stick with it, because if you can adapt to that environment, and if you can make it your own, then you'll be, stronger than you could ever have imagined, is the way that I would read the moon there. Verdiad, you get the Knight of Swords, so you're kind of maybe in a similar vein to me. But to me, I look at the Knight as being a lot more intellectual, a lot cleverer, a lot more agile than the Page. So your Page is kind of quite immature with their words. They can maybe be a bit when it comes to information, they love information for the sake of it. They can be a wee bit gossipy in that way. Just because they maybe lack that maturity that the Knight has, whereas the Knight, their intellect is their weapon, and they know how to use it. Got the lovely Nine of Cups, the Wish cards. Roscoe's got the Nine of Swords, so lots of high mental energy there, but I'm a firm believer that that Nine of Swords can be used to if you can take that mental traffic and channel that in a way that serves you, then it can be the best thing that you've ever had. Seven of Swords for Fortune's Red. So the way that I would read that as a theme for Pride Month is, this could be the time to take action. And it might be that some people would look at the action that you take and, cast aspersions on it. They might kind of look at it and say, oh, that's a bit, that's not the way that we do things. But sometimes we need to kind of act out of the norm. Sometimes we need to take action that is a bit controversial for a multitude of reasons, Hanged Man, so seeing things from a new perspective for Golden. Jilly's got the Nine of Wands, so watch out for overwhelm, definitely. And putting up defences. Now, that when that Nine of Wands gets out of balance, sure, it can be over defensive, but we all need to have our boundaries. So maybe this month is about boundaries for you, Jelly. It's about setting those boundaries and guarding them and not being ashamed of them, stand by your boundaries and be proud of them. Ace of Cups for Kristen. So the theme for me is love, beginning new or deepening relationships with others or myself. Thank you. So Four of Cups for Donna, reversed, of course it is. Let's see, the Six of Plants, which is Pentacles, which is the theme of generosity for Jonathan. And for Ferdiad, it was the King rather than the Knight. Okay. And the King of Swords for Debbie as well. So you two have got the same. Ferdiad and Debbie. So we've got our first synchronicity there. Always the sign of a good spread. It sounds like I'm taking credit for that, doesn't it? It's dinner time for Donna, so you've got to sign off. See you later, Donna. Love that about your boundaries. Yeah, going to have to do this spread later. Oh, sorry, Debbie. Have a good night. Take care. I got new perspective on the Nine of Swords from Tarot of the Witch's Garden. It says, just because drama unfolds in the mind, there is no need for it to bleed over into waking life. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. And it doesn't scare you now. Brilliant. Okay. The second card is about having pride in yourself. So Pride Month is all about accepting parts of ourselves that we maybe didn't accept before, or that we maybe have some shame issues around. So what is it within ourselves that we should have pride in? So something about ourselves to have pride in. Oops, with a close bracket at the end by accident. So I've got the Knight of Wands, and it is upright as well. I don't know. I mean, lately I've been feeling like there might be a wee bit of an ADHD issue that I need to look into. Probably talked about that on here before. I try not to, use clinical terms loosely, and please know that I'm not doing that here. It's genuinely something that I'm thinking that I might have, but I'm not really sure. As I understand it, it's not the easiest to get diagnosed. And I don't feel like I necessarily need to be on medication or anything, so I'm not in any hurry to get formally diagnosed with it. But I do feel as though a lot of the time my brain is firing at a million miles an hour. I can be very distracted, and I can see it. I can see the effects of it sometimes worse than others. I notice it more when I've not really had enough sleep. It can be quite bad, and I find myself like starting something and then I get distracted and carried away into something else, and then it happens again, and then it takes me a lot of thinking to get myself back to where I was, if you know what I mean. So definitely something that I would see there, but it's coming up as something to have pride in. So I mean, it's definitely something that can be a superpower if it's channeled and in that positive way. So the Knight of Wands, the fire of fire, lots of fiery energy, and when he's out of balance, he can be chasing his tail. He can be misfiring and going in all directions. But when that fiery energy is channeled, the Knight of Wands, is a formidable opponent. He can do pretty much anything. So I suppose the first step to being able to channel that is to have pride in it, to accept it in yourself and to have pride in it. So there we go. That's that's how that strikes me at first looking at it. What have you guys got? So Tony, you've got Temperance as your second card. So something in yourself to have pride in. So maybe it is you're kind of a quite well balanced, and I feel that oftentimes we don't appreciate that enough in people. Sometimes we look at people who have the quality of temperance. We look at them and say, oh, they're always on the fence, or they don't really, they're very non-committal. But having a strong sense of temperance, having that balance, being able to quite easily see it from the other person's point of view, being able to put on the shoes of someone else, that is definitely it's a superpower in and of itself, isn't it? And it's something to definitely be proud of. So yeah, justice for Jen. Yeah, so again, there's that balance as well, but it's having that strong sense of justice, of fairness, of right and wrong, and Verdiad. So you've got the Page of Swords now. So you're just working your way around the swords courts. Jilly's got the Queen of Pentacles. So I remember, Jilly, years and years ago when we were in a Zoom together, and I said to you, I really see you as the Queen of Pentacles, and you were like, no, I'm the Queen of Swords. I might be the Queen of Pentacles. And I says, but the Queen of Pentacles is the safe space. She's the mama bear. She's the person that, that makes anyone feel safe and secure, and it's like a person where anyone can go to and just feel nurtured, and they can say their piece, they can be heard, they can just get stuff off their chest. That is the Queen of Pentacles. That's safe and very maternal energy, and I really think that you created that when you did the when we used to do those meditation and tarot spread Zooms. You create that in your wine and tarot lives, and you kind of just generally are that for people. So it's definitely something to be proud of. Self-pride is the Ace of Wands for Beth. So you've got a new beginning for your sense of self-pride. So maybe you're getting into something new. There's a new project or something new on the horizon for you. Some kind of new creativity for you to have pride in and for you to nurture and make the most of. The Six of Cups for Kristen. I was a very homely and awkward child. I'm called to love that wounded child and be proud of her. To see her beauty even if she never could. Yeah, I can relate to that, Kristen. Hanged Man is your first card, Golden, and then you've got Justice. So let's see, your theme was seeing things from a new point of view, and then the thing to have pride in is justice. So it's you could look at that in a few ways. You could look at that as being your strong sense of right and wrong, of fairness, of justice, of fighting for equality, and for caring about people, for caring about people just because it's the right thing to do. You could also look at it as justice can be about like cause and effect. It can be about the kind of a natural karmic way of things. So maybe the actions, your past actions, are now kind of coming back. You're being paid for things that you've done, paid back, like not paid, but like what am I trying to say? Like reaping the benefits of the seeds that you've sown type thing. And that's something to have pride in, maybe. Roscoe, you've got the Page of Cups, so be proud of your own idealism and sensitivity, and don't let that be snuffed out by others, even when that could be the easy option. Yeah, that's something else I can really relate to. You asked about crystals earlier, Kristen. Great moment to meditate and reflect on that, holding a rose quartz. ADHD or fast on their feet. Have a heart-shaped rose quartz, that would be nice for that. Jilly diagnosed at 64. It was so helpful, and you're not medicated. Oh, okay. The Winds of Change, which is the Wheel of Fortune, so accepting change instead of fighting against it. Yeah, if Wheel of Fortune is telling you about a quality in yourself, Jonathan, I see that as being about, being very adaptable. Lots of people just say, oh, I don't like change, and they just say that. It almost just rolls off the tongue. It's something that we all say these days. I don't like change. I'm not good with change. Oh, I can't handle change. Don't let everything stay the same. Don't bring change to me. It's unsettling. Actually, I think most of us don't give ourselves enough credit for how adaptable we are. and how able we are to deal with change. And I think if you've got the wheel of fortune as a quality that you should be proud in yourself, it is your ability to deal with that turning wheel. There's lots of things in life that happen that we have no control over, that happen just because they happen, and there's really, nothing we can do about it. And your ability to kind of almost roll with that is a strength in and of itself, and is definitely something to be proud of. Okay, so you've got the Four of Wands and the Knight of Wands together, Donna. So the Four of Wands and the Knight of Wands, to me, if we're veering into the fortune telling side of things for a bit, suggests something to do with like a change in location, a change in home, or maybe it's just you're transforming your safe space, transforming your home. Maybe you've been working hard on, transforming, creating a safe space for yourself, and maybe you should be proud about that. Temperance as a person can be a real steady pair of hands, as well as a calming influence in a group, says Ferdinand. Yeah. Changed my mind. I do relate to her now, the Queen of Pence. Yeah. She's the woman who will tell you what, like the Queen of... She'll tell you what's what, like the Queen of Swords, but might also give you a cookie to cheer you up, like the Queen of Pence. Yeah. Kristen's got to go. Bye, Kristen. Your second idea for justice and reaping what I have sown rings true in teaching my A-level students. I do feel proud of how they have grown. Oh, that's nice. This too shall pass. Love that idea about temperance. Cool. Right, okay. Number 3 is action. So how can we show up for others this Pride Month? And this is about action we can take. Okay, I've got the 5 of Cups. So is this just about, being there for maybe someone who's going through some grief, sadness, disappointment, just being that safe space for them, that shoulder that they can come to, just somewhat a listening ear, I guess. That's how I would read that. I did find when I was reading at one of the events I read at, I don't think I would have seen you before that. So when I seen you last, the weekend straight after, I had an event on the Saturday and an event on the Sunday, like 2 markets that I was reading at. And the one on the Saturday I was like busy from start till finish. And I had a lot of people that were grieving. I don't hold myself out to be a medium or anything like that. I would say I'm not a medium, but whenever I say that, if there's someone that turns around and says, no, everyone is a medium, everyone has that ability. So I've stopped saying I'm not a medium just because I don't like get given into trouble. But I don't I certainly don't advertise myself as a medium, and I don't think that I would have the skills to be able to, do that as a service for people. So generally, I don't, as a rule, tend to attract people who are grieving. They don't tend to seek me out just because that's not kind of the type of work that I'm in. But at that event, I did have quite a few people that were going through some stuff, people that had been through, horrible things, who I really felt for. And yeah, that's just kind of what makes me think of that. So let's see, what did you guys get? The 3 of Cups for Ferdinand. So you're going to be there for other people by having a great time, by going to celebrating all the great things, and celebrating with other people. Beth, you've got the sun, so also sharing that sense of joy. Jilly, the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands as an action to take, or how you can kind of show up. It's just a very high energy situation, isn't it? The Eight of Wands. There's a lot of wands flying in the air. There's lots of energy. There's lots happening. And I suppose it's just about jumping on that wave whilst you can, I guess. Embracing the changes that are happening, that are coming. Six of Cups for Tony, so maybe providing a bit more of that, that emotional safe space, providing for some of that emotional harmony for Tony. See the King of Pentacles for Jen. So give to others and pay it forward. Yeah, and kind of a. So the Queen of Pentacles is and creates the safe space. The King of Pentacles kind of manages and maintains that safe space. So for me, that's in the same vein. It's about that safe space for people. And I suppose creating that environment where people can speak up, or where they can thrive, or where they can feel safe, It's about that safe environment, I think. So Child of Plants, so the Page of Pentacles for Jonathan. So I help others plant seeds and embrace the act of creating. Very nice. Page of Pentacles as well for Golden. So Golden and who else had the Page of Pentacles? Oh, Jonathan, right before you. A supporter in the worldly things, financial with what I have, not much, and a baker of cakes. We all need a good baker of cakes in our lives. Four of Pentacles for Roscoe. So again, fours are stability, so it's that stable environment. I think it means just show up where needed. Back to reversal. So we've got Temperance reversed for Donna. Temperance reversed, that's interesting. That's a bit more spicy, isn't it? So if that's how you're showing up for other people, maybe it's about being complicit with people, if temperance is all about being balanced and measured and, taking the middle path, maybe temperance reversed is just, I don't know, just sticking up for someone, even when you kind of know that they're not quite in the right, it's about supporting them. Maybe it's about calling someone a cunt just to stick up for your friend or something like that. Or, it's about being complicit with someone. It's about being an accomplice, being an ally. And maybe it doesn't quite have to be so, so balanced and so everything's just so. I like that. It's a wee bit spicy. I love it. Help others by reversing the status quo. Yeah. You help others by blooming getting your reverse cards back so that our electronics can work right again. Thanks very much. Reading them for filth when they need it so that they can get their lives in order. Definitely. Okay, we're ready for card 4. So this is Bye Bitch, this is Sashay Away. So these are the things that we are going to let go of that are no longer serving us. So I'm just going to call this Sashay Away and hope that I'm spelling it right. Oh, I've got my first reverse card. So we've got the Sun reversed. So what are we letting go of? So the Sun is that happy place. It's that kind of place of joy. We realize a lot of our own strengths and a lot of our self-worth in the Sun. It's a very powerful card, but it is not the be-all and end-all. It is not the final. It's not the culmination. It's not the final position. What comes next after the Sun is Judgment. It's where we look back and do this assessment of everything that's happened, and we almost like kind of judge ourselves, but not in a harsh way. We kind of look at everything that's happened and we draw a line under it. We learn what we need to learn. We draw a line and we move on. When the sun is reversed, we're blocking ourselves in that sun energy. So we're almost like kind of blocking ourselves in that chirpy, happy, toxic positivity. But in that positive space, we block ourselves in that positive space because we don't want to deal with the difficulty that comes with the judgment card. So it almost becomes like that toxic positivity, where that we become this kind of a chipper. Oh, everything is fine, everything is great, and maybe everything is great, or maybe it's because we know that what's to come is accepting some of the more difficult shit that we've had to deal with in our life. I'm saying we as though I'm reading for everyone. This is for me again. So yeah, maybe my kind of a journey to come out the broom closet. Maybe this is kind of in speaking with that. So it's not staying in that kind of a safe space. It's leaving that behind and taking what's to come next. Okay, Donna, yeah, thinking something similar. Not being afraid to upset the apple cart if it's to stand up for someone. Yeah, that's it. The Wheel of Fortune for Old Man Ferdinand. So, Wheel of Fortune. So maybe what you have to leave behind is like, so Fortuna is something, that the chaos of the stuff that we can't control is something that we all need to learn to accept, and it's a part of life. No one has control over everything, and there are some things that no one can control, and definitely it's important that we all accept that. Now, with that said, there are some that go the opposite and that are a bit too chancy with things, that leave everything to chance and let everything be about luck, and that's not a good place to be either. If we want to live a particular kind of life, we need to create that for ourselves. And yeah, there's the certain stuff that's about circumstance, and what am I trying to get at? Like, there'll be certain things that are always going to be outside our control, but we need to, if we want something, we need to work for it, and we need to create that path for ourselves. So maybe if the Wheel of Fortune is what we're being asked to leave behind, maybe we're being asked to kind of take the reins a wee bit more. Maybe it's about grabbing the bull by the horns and saying, right, okay, well, if I want this particular thing, if I want to manifest, well, it's not just about saying, oh, I'm going to manifest and magically I'm going to expect the thing to happen. I'm going to expect Jupiter, I'm going to expect Zeus, I'm going to expect Fortuna just to, grant it to me on a silver platter. Maybe it's about putting in the work to actually bring that about ourselves, That's the way I would read that. The Eight of Wands for Beth. So maybe that's about slowing down a wee bit. Maybe it's about things don't have to happen so swiftly and so fast, and slow and steady wins the race sometimes, Beth. The Tower for Jilly. So the Tower is what you're leaving behind, Jilly. The trouble with the Tower, well, there's lots of troubles with the Tower. But quite often with these things, it's how we react to them, isn't it? And there will be people who are very good at, moving on from that Tower moment. They salvage what's left. They kind of build on the foundations that are left behind, and they move forward and they create something new, and they heal from the kind of hurts that have happened. But equally, sometimes we kind of just stay in that place of hurt, in that place of like, it's almost like wallowing, isn't it? Wallowing in self pity. We look at the kind of the bad stuff that's happened, and we can't get away. The anger sticks with us. We can't get away from just the hurt and the anger, and it almost stops us from building on that foundation. So sometimes what we have to do is accept the tower situation and move forward from it, and move forward into that new sunrise. So if that's what you're being asked to leave behind, then that's kind of the way that I would read that. Roscoe, you've got the King of Cups. So you don't have to be so diplomatic. You're allowed to take a side every now and then. And someone will be disappointed. But you're allowed to have an opinion. You're allowed to have a choice in the matter. You don't have to please everyone. King of Wands, Tony. So the King of Wands is the guy who's trying to do it all. He's trying to manage the situation, but equally because he's linked to that fire element, he likes to be involved. He likes to be charismatic. He's the manager who just can't leave it. He can't delegate. He can't let someone else do it. He needs to get involved himself. So maybe you need to kind of you either need to accept your position as a king, as an overseer, and learn to allow someone else to do whatever it is, learn to delegate, or maybe you need to say, right, okay, being in this kind of sitting back on this throne isn't for me. I'm going to get back to being the knight. I'm going to get active again. But being kind of in that middle ground, maybe you need to leave that behind. Maybe it's not working for you. Seven of Chalices, indecision paralysis. Yeah, the Netflix scenario. Golden's got the tower as well. So Golden and Jilly, you've both got the tower. The Ten of Pence reversed for Donna. Even behind the Ten of Pentacles reversed. So how are we reading that? That stumped me. I'm not actually too sure. I guess, see, the Ten of Pentacles is one of those ones I kind of need to see the card, but the Smith-Waite Ten of Pentacles, it has that, Rachel Pollock likens it to the story of Odysseus. And we kind of see in the picture, we see this kind of a family who feel quite disconnected, and it feels like the younger generation are separating themselves from the older guy who really it's his empire, it's him that's built all of this stuff, and it's him that they've really got to thank for everything. But it almost feels like they're distanced from him, and sometimes the way the card hits you, it's like they're almost looking back at him like, oh, look at the state of him. Is he still going on about that? Or, that they've forgotten how to appreciate everything that he's provided for them. This is how I'm saying it depends on the image, because your Ten of Pentacles might not show anything like that. But for me, when the Ten of Pentacles comes up reversed, that's oftentimes what I'm thinking. It's like, right, okay, is there a bit of a lack? Is there a lack of appreciation here? Are we not appreciating where everything's come from? Do you know what I mean? So maybe we're still in card 4 here, aren't we? So maybe it's like identifying who is not being appreciated, and that needs a line drawn under it. That situation needs to be dealt with, and it needs to be addressed, and we need to move forward from it. For the Six of Swords, move away from being so used to moving away. Yeah. I can get all up in my head with things sometimes and ruminate and work on recognizing when I get into that mode and just letting go. Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting 10 of Pence. It shows a diverse group of people holding hands in a circle around a tree, right? So there you go. So the image there is nothing like what I was describing. So someone's singing outside. So maybe, maybe you'll see a different meaning in that then, Donna. Maybe it's time to put aside your solitude and time to build a found family, says Jonathan. Too much kumbaya, says Jen. Releasing traditional social views on what happiness is. 10 of Pence can be material legacy, like tradition. Legacy, reverse, worrying that you aren't leaving behind anything or that your contributions aren't being recognised. Sashay away and value that for yourself without needing the validation. Yeah. Okay. We're on 11 o'clock. Sorry, I'm running late, folks. But last card, number 5, is Shantae, You Stay. So this is the stuff that we are going to take forward and work on and nurture and continue to grow. So this is Shantae, You Stay. And again, don't know if I'm spelling that right. I don't even know if I'm saying it right or if I've remembered it right. But I have got the 2 of Wands. 2 of Wands. So the 2 of Wands is a wee bit more preparation, a wee bit more building on things, building my portal. So I'm only just starting my journey of coming out of the broom closet. I'm only just starting to share certain bits of myself with, people that I maybe wouldn't normally have. And maybe I don't need to know what that looks like completely. Or maybe it's just about, the fact that I'm taking that first brave step, and this is just encouragement to continue taking that forward, continue to have that look. I mean, look at the person in that. They are pretty fucking fabulous. So maybe it's just about continuing to kind of have that pride in yourself, accept the things about yourself that are pretty great, build on them, and don't be scared to show them to the world, type thing. Okay. Oh, Jelly, you've got to leave for dinner with Mr. Honey. My last card is the Lovers. Bye, everyone. What a lovely card to end on, the Lovers. But bye, Jelly. Thanks very much for being here with us. You've got the Sun. So the beautiful Sun card. So you're taking forward that joy, that happiness, that sense of self-love and self-worth, and you're going to continue to build on that, and I think that's a great thing. Beth, you're staying with the Tower. So Beth, you are, you know what? For you, that's not about the Tower. You are the lightning. You're the lightning in that card. It is about the change that you can bring about. You're not going to be the Tower that's been struck by the lightning. You're going to be the lightning that strikes change, and that kind of changes things up. So, yeah, that is what you're going to take forward. Tony, you've got the 5 of Swords. So you're taking forward the 5 of Swords. Interesting. So I wonder what that's about. Maybe it's about, sometimes the 5 of Swords can just be saying, you don't need to win every single time. Perfectionism can be a bit of an issue. And if you feel like, failure is constantly a bad thing, what Yoda says in Star Wars, failure is our greatest teacher. Well, he says it differently because he talks the funny way around, but failure is basically our greatest teacher, and we should pass on not just our strengths, but also, our weaknesses and our failures, because that is our greatest teacher. That is how we learn. So when you move forward, Tony, it's not just about thinking about all the wins and taking them forward, but think about all the failures as well. Think about all the kind of the things that you've not done so well, and how can you learn from that and move forward and feel better the next time. Beth is going to keep dismantling the patriarchy. Beth is. Roscoe's got the 9 of Pentacles. So Roscoe, you are going to be a fancy rich bitch. You're in that garden with your grapes and surrounded by luxury. You've worked hard to achieve that, and that is what you're going to take forward, and you're not going to be ashamed of any of that. You're going to enjoy every single thing that you've worked hard for, and you're going to take that forward and be proud of it. Been trying for decades. I guess I'll keep on that one. The 9 of Wands for Golden. So happy that you got through the hard times. But as I was saying to Jelly at the start, that 9 of Wands, as much as it's, when we say building defences, it can hit us negatively, but it's also a really positive thing. We need our defences, we need our boundaries. They're a really strong thing. So maybe you've worked hard to build up certain boundaries, to put safe boundaries in place, Golden, and you're going to take those boundaries forward, those healthy boundaries. Boundaries. I feel as though that's not a real word anymore. Jen, you've got the Hierophant. So taking forward the Hierophant. So maybe it's about being a teacher, passing on knowledge, tradition, and just general wisdom. I mean, the Hierophant to me is about, the things that we've learned from the people that have come before us. So maybe you are in a place right now where you're learning a lot. You're just really in a really curious phase of your life. You're learning a lot, and you're going to take those learnings forward and build on them. The Castle, which is the Tower for Jonathan. This card is different than the original version. The Castle is being hit by lightning, but not getting destroyed. The people are working on the castle and not falling. Okay, interesting. The Hermit reversed for Donna. So just being comfortable in your own company, I guess. Being comfortable with your own, sense of self and your own power. Using the tarot for you and me deck. Lots of changes to the deck, and I'm appreciating it. So true about the boundaries. Yeah, definitely. Oh, okay. So are we all looking at our spreads that we've got laid out in front of us? Does anybody see anything, when you look at the pictures, drawing them up? Does anybody see anything interesting? What do I see? I'm noticing an interesting symmetry between the clothing that this person is wearing. Seems to be the same here. So I'm wondering if this could be the same person, but in different phases of their life. This person is kind of looking towards this knight. So they are, and as much as, we often interpret this card as being about loss and sadness and disappointment, struggling to pick up the actual facial features there, but I don't immediately get that from this image. Because of the rainbow in the background, it does feel a lot more it does feel like it's got a wee bit more joy in it. But I do kind of at the same time, like the person is looking back on these two. So maybe they're busy looking at what other people are doing, and they're not appreciating, the bridge that's there for them to cross. So maybe the bridge could be this, the bridge could echo with the portal that's being created here. Maybe this is like the bridge, the portal to walk through, or the bridge to walk across. The rainbows, the rainbow on the sun's toxic positivity echoes with the rainbow that's coming out of them. So they're so surrounded right now with toxic positivity, and so fed up with other people's bullshit that they're maybe not appreciating the opportunities. What I would say is that it has been a part of me that has been so worried about what other people would think and say, and whether they would change their opinion on me, and whether that even matters, that I maybe haven't thought so much about the opportunities that, being more open about myself would create. But I'm slowly but surely becoming more open to what that means, and what that might present. So yeah, it's a nice thing. The rainbows between the Five of Cups and the Sun, Tammy Pie's seeing them too. I was thinking maybe it's further confirmation of what Jonathan said, an end to solitude and finding community. Yeah, definitely. Beth's got to run. Thanks so much. Much appreciated. Thank you, Beth. The arc of your cards seems to go from night to day, left to right. Yeah, you're right, it does. They all have their feet on the ground, but moving away is on its head. I agree, it's time to share your wisdom with your community. Just be yourself, you're enough. Golden, the Page of Pentacles looking forward. So you're looking at yours. So Page of Pentacles is looking forward. The Nine of Wands is looking back. The Hanged Man and the Tower are both upside down perspectives throughout. Nobody seems to be looking towards each other in my cards. They all seem distracted by either themselves or things around them. Maybe a bit of personal disconnect that needs to be turned around. Okay, yeah, maybe a wee bit of inner chaos. So maybe you're needing some of that kind of a chariot energy to just bring the sphinxes or the horses or whatever they are, just bring things together a wee bit. No swords at all. 2 4s, a 10. So a lot of stable cards, but a lot of reversals as always. So being blocked in that stable, so blocked stability sometimes becomes a bit like staleness, doesn't it? The stance of the person in the Five of Cups looks a little like a rider, and the child riding and the sun being grown means dealing with things that are hard. Yeah, definitely. Okay, folks, I am going to love yous and leave yous there. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for pulling cards with me. I'm going to take a picture just now, because as soon as we'll see if I'm actually able to end this stream. That'll be interesting. But yeah, as soon as I end the stream, I'm probably going to forget and just put the cards away automatically without thinking. So there we go. I've taken a picture and I'll post my cards somewhere. I'll probably post them on Instagram. And yeah, feel free to comment if you can with your cards, or post them on it, post a picture and tag me in it so that I can see them. The thing you can do on Instagram, which is quite cool, is you can kind of make someone a co-poster, like a co-creator of your post. So if you want to do that, make me a co-creator, and it means that I'll essentially post it as well. It means that people that follow me will see your post, and people that follow you, well, it's your post, so they'll see your post. But yeah, please do let me see your cards. I'd love to see all your beautiful big gay pride spread cards. Would just be amazing. But yeah, thanks everyone. Take care. Have an amazing weekend. I will not be live next week because I'm going on holidays. Me and Sandy are taking the two dogs, and we're driving up to the north of Scotland, up to a place called Dornoch. It's a caravan, and it's right beside the seaside, so we're going to have an amazing time. I can't wait. But I will be away, so I won't be live next Thursday. So it'll be a couple of weeks before I see you again. So enjoy the rest of Pride Month. Just enjoy your weekend and have a great time, and I'll see you all later. Bye, everyone.